longer. Chalet is commencing. The final best of one at the group stage for what would have been the B stream, now the A stream, because the Brits have arrived, and you're in for a surprise because I'm going nowhere, boys. We're tri-casting it.
Oh, one that's a little bit special, Tim. We thought, you know what, it deserves a little bit of wordsmith and wizardry from Jackie, and the hype is at that level that it deserves three of us to lend the voices to it, Tim.
Well, it just... At the end of the day, this isn't the sort of match that you see every day. You don't hear the TriCast every day, so why don't we put our hands together?
That's it, mate. That is it. Bans flying through. Sophia coming away as the first ban. The Ying coming out from Team 1 as well. Real fear of those speedy executes coming out with the Ying, but the Zofia on the other side feels like a target ban in there against the sort of things that you might see the impacts being used for on the Zofia. The removal of soft flooring, for example, the breaching charges can help out in the right time, and that ever-present ban that just keeps on following us through the tournament, the Wamai as well.
Des, just before this kicks off, just for one final time, just for me, could you give me a funky bands?
Funky bands, mate. Oh, these are some really funky bands. Lycan would be proud of the funky level of these bands.
My. Like disco fever out there. We'll see who's going to be lighting up the dance floor. Team 1 Cyclops Chalet is underway. We're about to get into it, Tim.
We really are, and this is it. The moment is now. I know there's a lot of people excited about this one. We never believed this could happen. We never believed it could be 7-2, but as I said in the game, I've watched sports, I've watched these sort of things my entire life, and somehow they just seem to be on that path of fate, that destiny that leads them towards what seems like the least likely outcome. But here we are, and we are going in full force. It's going to be round 1. Cyclops to defend, and the first site, it's going to be dining and kitchen.
All right, look at the lineups up here and what's stacking up across either side. Again, this map is one of the ones where you sometimes see something like a Frost getting brought along a lot, but as we've discussed so many times over on the Bravo stream over the last 3 days, more and more teams moving over to playing the Alibi, and BlackRay, the pioneer of it feels like, in some way, got that 1.5 times scope on now. You'll see him doing his thing, Jackie. He'll be charging around the map, standing at windows, looking to be disruptive. But my fear is, on Consulate, they had the answer. The only kind of saving grace, I think, is there are less long angles from outside the building on this map compared to what we saw on Consulate.
Can't wait to see if he's going to be more frightening than a very well-dressed man on Halloween. We'll see if the costumes are coming out, because we are into it. Round 1 is underway. Team 1 did the unthinkable on Consulate. Can they do it again? The double-double of history and go on to take down Cyclops. That's the huge question mark we're looking for. Where the answer's going to come from, that's what we're going to focus on now.
Well, I'm a little bit worried for Cyclops here, Jackie, because you've got to remember, they've just come out of a Consulate game where Team 1 absolutely had their number. We've got to call it as we see it, and Cyclops struggled for kills, they struggled for space, they struggled for map possession. Team 1 sort of figured out that secret formula. Move in slow, take your time, find out where they are. He sees the man, he takes the shots, he's gonna clip his toes for him.
Oh, man.
You know that it's building up into that kind of fever pitch where, as tense as the last map was, this one, it's got to go all the way to the max OT. 15 rounds is what we're screaming for. It's what the game deserves as well. KDS, SuzuC, down about 25 HP. A C4 coming up, but the man on the rappel, Lagonis, is a little bit too quick for him, and Alamau comes in from below. It's 3-story warfare here, Jackie, and once again, Team 1 are opening up the bank account with an opening kill onto Cyclops.
Oh yeah, you go up against Big Buck that likes to mess you up, and you are going to be left lifeless on the ground. That's what we've seen there. Takes out the mute and leaves them in a bit of a rough position. 4 players alive now then for Cyclops, as pressure's being applied to them by Team 1. Can they take that pressure and turn themselves into an APAC diamond, or will they merely crumble away like an old biscuit, Tim?
That's the hope for one of these teams, put it that way. KDS finds the kill onto BlackRay. That's a great moment. I said I'm going to double down on what I said. I'm worried about Cyclops here, guys. They were struggling on Consulate, and it's not going any better for them here. Team 1 just seem to have the number. They're finding everything, and this looks like the Team 1 that I've expected to see for the last 2 days, but haven't. KDS finds SuzuC. Gatorada is down. It's all up to Anitun effectively. I was going to say 1 versus 5, but no, he manages to get the pickup. He gets the pickup, Des.
The pickup isn't going to be enough, though. Oh, razor sharp shot into the skull of Anitun. Gatorada finds something bad, but at this point, it's already too late. It's a triple in the round. Gatorada, he knows that this one's pretty much done and dusted. And clearly, the timeout between the games weren't going to be enough. They know there is more to discuss. He's going to hide away, let this round time out, and already they're going to be in discussion, I think, Jackie, about what they need to be fixing.
Absolutely. Take the time. Let the round play out. It's 24 more seconds that you can discuss with the rest of the squad. Get your grey gears together and immediately try and patch up the issues you've suffered from into this first round. For Team 1, though, it's an amazing start, right? They go into this now with essentially no pressure on them. They had 2 rounds to work with on Consulate. They made it work. Here, this could go to OT. This could go as long as it needs to, and it would still be a victory for whoever takes it. Gatorada there at the end, not quite getting away with his life. Popped in the face.
I'm having absolutely none of that, coming in with a pistol one tap on the window down at the bottom. The thing is, we've had, you know, Anitun coming in, giving it a bit of lip in the, you know, it's obviously a bit of a friendly rivalry now between these two, and they're just jumping out of the window, giving him the signal of where he was, taking the fight. It's a little bit of fun as well, but it's also very serious. That round was done. It was locked in. There was no way that was getting turned around. A great play from Team 1 again. It looked just like another round on Consulate. They moved in slowly. They found where everybody was, and they just dismantled them. They dissected them with scalpel precision, one at a time, until they had a massive numbers advantage, and they're just crushing Cyclops right now.
They are indeed. I mean, I'm looking at that clash on the side for Anitun, and we know how much of a terror he was with the Monty. Don't let his pre-game chatter that looks a little bit soft and fluffy give you the idea. He was a stone cold killer, rocking around that Iron Fortress, pistol kills left, right, and centre. I'm hoping here with the clash it can be a similar story, but really, the thing that needs to change for Cyclops, for me, is where we've seen Team 1 and BDS pull out some depth in their playstyles today and show they can deal with this new, crazy style of play coming out of the APAC teams. Now APAC's got to show that they can adapt, that Cyclops have got more in the tank, more than we run around the map and make your life a nightmare. What else can they bring to the fore?
Run around the map and make your life a nightmare. To me, that rings true of only one region, the LATAM boys, the old supremacy that I like to see. And I tell you what, Levy is the one that I'm going to hope we see some flashy plays from into this round. If he can get out there and do some damage, I think it could be a nice way to get into it. And here we go. BlackRay, see you later. He's made that Ray an endangered animal.
Let's put the crystal ball away, Jackie. It's just an unfair advantage against the rest of us. You call Levy out and he steps up for you. It's like you've got some sort of psychic link going on there. Opens it up with a big kill against BlackRay. And once again, Team 1 have that advantage. Neskin. The thing is, can you feel it? You can feel it in the server. Team 1, they're rolling on this sort of wave of momentum, this wave of energy now. Every time a kill goes down, they're getting into the map. They're moving quickly. The confidence is building. I don't even think Clash is going to be enough to slow them down from Anitun.
I don't know what crystal ball you're on about, Tim, because it's using your head for this one. Give it an old rub, get the shiner out, give it a bit of shoe shine or whatever else you want to call it on top. Maybe a bit of like, I don't know, what do you even use to shine your head?
I don't shine it. That's the point.
You do. I tell everyone this all the time. You can't lie to me now, Tim.
I've seen it. Back in the BR6 days, he had one of those like floor buffers that you'd see in like old mafia movies. He just pops that bad boy on his head for like 15, 20.
It's just like a miniature one that I can't use the full size.
True.
A small noggin on you, mate, but lots of brains inside there. Halfway into the round, it's just that one opener on to BlackRay. You know that it's on this downstairs side, and Team 1 focusing on getting in on the ground floor, getting this one opened up. Want to clear away the mute jam on the other side. A cheeky little frag grenade over the top will do enough for that. And then this wall can get opened up. And commonly, you want the upstairs control at the same time here. Clash is still up there, threatening into the library hallway. They're getting this front side opened up. So you can see the point of ingress they want to play behind. And now it's about this vertical control and what the side of Cyclops can do with it. Right now, there's 3 of them pushed up towards the north, Jackie. I'm kind of worried if they've got enough firepower at the front lines to deal with this.
Can they hold off the oncoming assailants? That's the big old question. Pressure being applied whilst time slowly ticks down. KDS going to slip over like the man stepped on a banana peel. He's dropped onto his bottom. Taken out a play for now, but down but not out. Lagonis is close by, biding his time to see if there is an opportunity to push back in, find the trade, and maybe get his mate back up on his feet. But with only 30 seconds left, this is going to be quite a tall order. Alamau waiting outside the window, looking for the go-ahead to be called in so they can execute out onto this site. Lagonis slowly coming forward as well. Now, they're going to be giving up the goose soon, and the flashbangs are thrown out. Nest comes in, opens it up onto Gatorada. Goodbye, Ayagator. They're all falling down to bits as all of a sudden it's left on Anitun. No attention for him there. The backstab from KDS doing his KD best, boys. They're in it for 2.
Pressure is starting to take its toll. I'm going to throw it out there. I'm not inside the team. I'm not in the heads. I don't know for sure what's going on, but they're missing shots, and that's not like Cyclops. They're not playing like the team we know. This is getting worse for them. Team 1 are just picking up momentum. We know that they're a good chalet team, but still, they are just coming through and starting to play for fun now. They're finding kills all over the map. I mean, how long did Olemo hold down that drone hole for? You know, they're just coming through with pure confidence, not even getting him inside of the map until the very end, and then he just strafes across the hallway, picks one up, nice and easy. Team 1, they're in danger of running away with this right now. Cyclops, they've got to find a way. They need to find somebody who can be the train driver here and put this one back on the tracks.
It breaks my APAC heart hearing you put it out that way, Tim, but I am on the line of agreeing with you. You know, it's carrying on the same way as the last map ended, even after a break, even after the scenery has gone from what looks like a warm consulate to a chilly villa in the Alps of wherever it might be.
French Alps.
Yeah. French Alps, there you go, mate. Glad someone's got me covered on that one. Clearly someone knows the law, because I clearly do not. But one thing about this game I do know, it is looking grim. I need to see some change in one of these rounds, Tim, because if we go to 3, go to 4, I think at that point there's no way to come back in it for Cyclops, to be honest.
SuzuC, a hard place for them to try and fight their way back from. They're already down by 2 now here. Signs of life there, though, Tim. We've seen the odd shot coming out, but really it was just the odd shot. 1 from Gatorada. That's the only frag they found so far.
That's the problem. You know, that is the thing. And this is something that I commented on at the end of the last game when we had a look at the stats, Jackie. We looked down the scoreboard and I said how few kills Cyclops have been able to pick up. And it's not like them as a team. We've seen plenty of action from them over the last 3 days. And it's going to be heartbreaking to see either of these teams fall at this last hurdle. But one of them is going to have to. And if Cyclops can't get themselves running, it's potentially going to be them. Now then, they've brought along the frost. SuzuC just bringing those little frost mats to try and slow things down. Team 1 aren't playing necessarily quickly and aggressively, but they are getting inside the map. They are able to move in and make those challenges. So hopefully for Cyclops, that's going to be enough just to make them think twice before hopping in, maybe take the focus elsewhere.
That's it though, right? Slowing down a bit with the frost, maybe you look at it and think, yeah, fair play, it does make sense, but Team 1 are already playing this so slow. Like I say, it's like trying to pen in a wild animal and just saying to Cyclops, look, be as mental as you want. We don't give you something to shoot at, you can't do nothing. And Gatorada feeling like a cornered animal right now. He's got 2 or 3 starting to line up on him. Frag grenades in hand. You know he's not long for this world. 1 does sing over, nothing happens, but 4 are squaring up on him. 1's holding the angle. That's a great headshot coming in. KDS finds one grenade elsewhere. A second for Gatorada. Is he saving the round here for Cyclops a bit? Can he make it into a 3rd? Quite possibly not. Impact coming out. Unfortunately, not quite got the power of a frag. But it's still enough to slow the round down because for the first time in what feels like forever, Cyclops have got themselves a numbers advantage.
And striving for glory, you've got to get gory. And that's exactly what we're seeing from Cyclops here. Lagonis, though, the Loch Ness monster himself, wanted to pop up for a photo opportunity. Doesn't get much from it, though. No connection onto the player behind the bar. Does go round the corner. We see the trade there from KDS onto Ayagator, leaving us into a 2 versus 3, Tim.
Lagonis has got an opportunity potentially to get the diffuser down here, but he's just not sure about the cover in place. There's vertical angles up above. There's limited damage that Neskin can do to those because he can't take the challenges, and that's exactly why SuzuC taking those final hit points away from the sled, shutting him down, and it's all up to Lagonis. 1 versus 3. 34 seconds left to go. He knows that the men are above him. He's trying to hold his angles. He's trying to find something, anything, and this is what Lagonis knows best. Try and get that diffuser down. He might just stick this, Des.
Might be able to get away with it yet. Swinging in now. He doesn't know about the man on the door. Surely he doesn't win that. No, the crossfire's coming in. 1 from above, 1 from the doorway. Cyclops will break that streak of Team 1 have enjoyed now for so many rounds in a row. Round 3 goes their way. We've got a game on our hands.
They might only have 1 eye, but they're certainly keeping it on the prize. Cyclops going big there as they'll be able to pick themselves up a lovely first round. The pressure that had to come out for that, though. The first 2 frags, Des. Oh, that's giving me goosebumps.
I don't know, man. I'm at the point where it's 1 round. I do want to see more. And sure, it's a game. They're showing they can compete. But until that becomes 2, becomes 3, shows they can really do something here, I'll hold back a little bit of excitement, because Chalet is one of those maps, Tim. We know this as well from the stats. It is quite a bit of an attacker-leaning sort of affair. You do expect attackers to do quite well at the moment, but it still doesn't stop you getting the jitters when you see that scoreline creeping up for Team 1 and not going up for Cyclops as much.
No, you're absolutely right. We know that the attacking team are going to have a bit of success here. I think there's something that we need to separate out of that, though. And the first 2 rounds particularly, it's what that success has looked like. And round 2, good example, flawless round. Team 1 going in there, Cyclops missing shots, and that's the sort of more important picture. Yes, we would expect Team 1 to maybe come away with a 4-2 half on attack, Cyclops to fight back. We expected Cyclops to fight back on Consulate when they got on the attack. They were unable to do it. So over the next 3 rounds, what's super important for Cyclops is that they get in there and they start hitting some shots, and then that's going to lead them hopefully into a better second half.
It's already miles better than it was in the first 2 rounds, though. We're seeing frags coming out. We're seeing players look a little bit looser. Because obviously, going into Consulate, right? Cyclops were the team that were giving it. They were having the banter in the lobby. They were the ones that were making a bit of noise. They quickly got silenced. Team 1 were screaming. Team 1 were pushing in. Team 1 were making all of the big plays. Cyclops need to come.
They do need to do something special here to keep it going, for sure. This one will be another slow round, I think, because you can see that you've got that Clash stepping back into the field. You can see him now playing down library. The thing is, Team 1's drone work has been really good so far. Every time you've seen or switched over to a player on a drone on the side of Team 1, they've got someone from Cyclops in their sights. And maybe part of it you put down to yellow pings or the good communication coming out of the team, whatever you want to say. They always seem to find themselves an answer. And it's then Cyclops having to deal with this aggression coming out of seemingly nowhere, but it's always coordinated coming out of Team 1.
Levy applying some caution to the outside of the piano windows there with the air jab, not wanting to take the damage that can come from a jump out onto that balcony. But Anitun, he's just facing right up to that bathroom window. He's looking to feed the information back into his team. We've seen Cyclops using this method previously, where he gets right up to the window, feeds it in, and then it's up to Gatorada, it's up to BlackRay behind him to try and hit those shots. In this case, it's Ayagator working alongside that Clash. No joy as of yet, but they will keep prodding and proking against this attack.
Going for the information plays close towards the window. They have an intel on where exactly these 2 players are, with KDS being backed up by Alamo. Instead, they opt to position off. The repel, BlackRay.CAG gives it away. The peek out through the window. Goodbye, KDS. It's starting to get rough, Des.
It is a little bit starting to bake down to that point where it gets a little bit leery around these windows, because Anitun is saying, no, you can't come in, good sir. We are closed. But Team 1, they've claimed they've got the keys. They want the way inside the building. For SuzuC, they're really surprised that he wasn't checked, because that really should be the way that flow goes. SuzuC peeks out for the window. Someone's pushing upstairs or through library. He gets challenged immediately on the angle and gets shut down in response by Team 1. But there was no answer, Jackie.
There really wasn't. And now we're left here. A 4-on-4 with 48 seconds on the clock. Levy. One critical kill he found was a beautiful entry frag. Nesk's the one that wants to try and do some damage, though, comes in from underneath. Unfortunately for him, his teammates are dying all around him. Left down to Lagonis and Levy. Lagonis, will he become a pair of idle eyes, or can he become idolized off the back of this play? Diffuser going down. 1v3. Anitun slowly advancing forward, trying to get the intel. Spots him out. Lagonis, never an easy task. Dives over the window. Hits one. Switches out to the concussion. Tries to switch to the secondary. He's kept in line. He's so low, and eventually he'll be decked. Goes down. Cyclops with a cleanup and another round.
Cyclops are doing fantastically well on these retakes, but that lines up perfectly to the fact that Lagonis, he
box with one way out into the corridor, and sure, he finds that one kill, and then eventually gets chased down by Anitun on the shield operator of the Clash. At 2-2, though, Jackie, got a game on our hands. They're starting to war their way back into it, which is what we wanted to see. We didn't want to see, I mean, maybe you would if you're a massive Team 1 fan such as yourself, but a 7-2 wasn't really on the agenda for this game for us.
Oh, no. I think no matter where your allegiances lie, right? If you're a big fan of all the Brazilian boys, if you love the APAC region, hell, even if you love NA somehow, it's all about the length of this game. It's all about the explosivity of this game, Des. It's no longer about these 2 teams. They've already done the unthinkable, even getting to a position where we can have this Chalet game go down. Consulate was remarkable. Team 1 looked ferocious. Here now again, we're seeing both teams showing their claws, Tim.
Yep, Cyclops pretty happy with the lineup that they've been bringing. Anitun's going to bring that clash again. They obviously feel that it's giving them what they need to just repel the push that is coming from this Team 1 attack. I won't say that it's a quick attack. It's not about slowing them down, because we've said Team 1 are taking their time. They're setting it up. They're finding where the defenders are. They're moving in. They're trying to pick apart the Cyclops defense, and they're not really bringing any ferocity or aggression with them necessarily that the clash needs to slow down. But it is about information, and it is about denial into those areas, and it's going fantastically well so far. Look at the challenge coming in. Gatorada and Neskin trading down in the big garage.
Perfect trade coming out between the two. Yeah, he saw his arm and I thought, surely there's no way the Melusi gets the kill here, but that's the way it turned out. Now, Anitun has to sneak into position. Someone's on the outside, but we know about this clash. We saw it in the previous round, playing at the window, looking to collect information, waiting for the sound cues, get a couple of zaps down, just giving the jitters with a few 9,000 volts charging into the arms, but not enough that, of course, it will be killing anyone. 4 versus 4 then. 2 minutes still to play, Jackie.
It's a ton of time for some incredible plays to be made. Team 1 starting to take a bit of map control here as well, as we see the push coming in. Alamau bit by bit advancing. Oh, hello. I thought maybe we were going to see the C4 on the door and Team 1 left breathing no more, but no, put in the back pocket for now. Taken down for good though is SuzuC, as we see KDS with a follow-up frag. G36, see you later.
3 versus 3 as BlackRay manages to find the kill onto Alemo, and this is another one of those rounds that's going to go the distance. You can feel it. We're halfway through. We'd expect Team 1 to maybe just drop back a little bit, go for the opportunity to get some more. I've got to take a laugh at that. He gets punched back by the air jab and falls all the way through the hatch. He wasn't expecting to take such a long drop there.
Call it a deliberate rotation, Tim. That's the only way that I can describe it. Ayagator coming up on the flank. Levy finds another. So 1 versus 2 coming in for Ayagator here. They were trying to go for the plant. They opt to try and go for the frags instead. Man's got a C4 on side. Comes out over the top. Goes for the connect, but Levy's only down to about 20. Lagonis connects the headshot. Another round to Team 1. They pull it up to 3 and 2.
I was starting to fall off my seat there the second I saw that rip. There's the C4.
They're both capable here, but Cyclops, they've been able to get themselves back into it. Now they need to make sure they don't let it slip again.
Saw that replay just a second ago as well of the like power through. Call it a rotation. Call it intended. Wanted to contune the air jab. Also wanted to get himself downstairs. You can paint it as many ways as you want. You can go, I meant to do that. That's what he tells his team.
Oh, that's how you've got to style it out. Make sure nobody was looking.
Style points, mate. They'll all see it on the replay after the game when they watch it back, I'm sure. But whether, of course, that is tomorrow ahead of playoffs or if it's on the plane back home still remains to be seen. Last round of the half here. Team 1, no doubt looking for that 4 and 2 to give themselves the edge, sort of thing they had on Consulate earlier on. But you do get the feeling these rounds are a lot closer though, right, Jackie? It's not as one-sided as it was. It's still a score advantage to Team 1, but Cyclops are at least being competitive.
Oh, yeah. Compared to what we had on Consulate, it does feel like, you know, you can see both teams have really taken the pressure off. No longer backs against the walls for Team 1, so they're playing a little bit looser. I don't know if that could come back to haunt them, though. They've been very slow rounds. Previously, we'd seen Team 1 willing to go aggro, willing to be really fast when necessary, whereas here they're keeping their distance. Oh, potentially a kill there from Neskin over the top. A little bit of a tag, but no frag.
Gatorada just managing to keep his head down out of danger there, but it was very, very close. Now, interestingly, Alamau's opened up the main garage door. Gatorada can't last for much longer. I think he'd already burnt a couple of lives in this round. He's going to be shut down by KDS, but that is now... I'm interested what's going on down there in the basement. Alamau's opened up the garage door. Lagonis is perched down there at this point in time. Alamau's then moved up to the top floor, which is where we would expect him. You want to get control of library. You want to be able to put that vertical pressure down onto site. But we'll see if that basement level gets used at all.
It normally does, because you get a push coming up through the main stairs that comes up into lobby, and then that's you right next to the door to push your way. Oh, I tell you what, you smash. Someone told me about 2 years ago, I think it was Dream at Valencia 2019, someone said to me, the thing is with the Japanese teams, you open a window and they are there. It was someone on Chaos who told me that, and it stays true 2 years later, where you've got a sledge at a doorway and immediately someone is there to greet you. But KDS takes no prisoners. In fact, he's taken 2 scalps in this round, 4 versus 3 for the side of Team 1.
What's that going for a drive-through, Des? If you see a window, you can assume there'll be someone behind it. Alamau right now, though, he's the one behind the gun, taking down everyone he sees. Levy pipes up for one as well, and it's all down to Anitun. He's been a cheeky boy in the lobby chat. He can't back it up this time, though, as the boot comes down and he gets fragged out.
Absolutely not. It's all words in that round as Lagonis was getting the diffuser down as well, and it was another one that Team 1 were just completely dominant in, and that seems to be the pattern here. If Team 1 can get themselves the man advantage, get themselves the map control, shock horror, they manage to win the round. But in the scrappy rounds, those are the ones that are going in the direction of Cyclops. They seem a little bit more able to get those trades and to just fight it tooth and nail when the diffuser's down, getting in, getting the retake, and just managing to get those impact kills in the mid to late round when they need to.
Now, here's a fun one for you, Tim. Wine and Snowmobile as the first site that Team 1 start on. Pretty unpopular as a site around the world. Most saying it's very hard to defend, not really the sort of thing you want to go for. I'm pretty sure we saw Sonic's attack onto this site and they pulled off a really good execute from the north side into Wine. Didn't even bother with Snowmobile at all, because you get that north wall opened up and it gives you so many dangerous sight lines because of those longer range scopes on attackers in average. They came all the way through down to Connector, down through the soft wall sometimes, down in towards Snowmobile. It became really restrictive for any of the defenders to do anything. Thank you very much, Medics, for pointing that out for us. So I'm keen to see what the angle is for Cyclops here. They're the ones that have got work to do. There is no Monty in sight. So the screen's more looking towards the smoke-based plant off the back of Anitun, maybe.
5 seconds left.
I want to see a howler coming out from here, Des. Cyclops on attack. Just get in there. Get aggro. Do something, Larry.
I've not seen this. You are kidding me.
There you have it.
That
coming soon to a ranked game near you.
That's amazing. Unless that's droned out, you have no way of knowing that's there.
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, that's a new one on me. We're seeing this, innovation with the electricals. We're really seeing teams go into extreme lengths in some cases to find these new spots, and that's an absolute beauty coming in from Team 1. It's going to be very, very difficult for Cyclops not only to locate it, but to clear it off as well, unless they're already aware of it themselves.
It's like I was saying, that needs a drone on it, Jackie. If there's no drone there to see that going down, chances are you're just not going to know it's a thing unless you spot all the destroyed fabric around the table that maybe gives you a heads up of, oh, something's happened here. Gatorada, though, finding Neskin. That's a good start. At the window, BlackRay's there. Team 1 trying to dish out some of KAG's own medicine to them, but they're saying, nah, thanks. We've had enough of that today already.
The tenacious defense not working well for Team 1. They decide to flip the script and go aggro, and they fumble because of it. Their numbers thinning. The battle of attrition going in favor of Cyclops. It's a 3 versus 5, and we've still got 1 minute and 50 seconds for this round to develop. Where's the response going to be, Tim?
It's going to have to be out of a player like Alamau. Lagonis it is to step up and get the first, though. Out goes the Nitro. I think it probably just gets shot out on its way to its intended target there, but Lagonis keeps on going, and the man that I mentioned, I've summoned him. Alamau manages to get the kill. He gets a second onto SuzuC, and all of a sudden Team 1 have turned it around. It's 3 versus 2, and they've got themselves back in the driving seat. They've got the advantage here. They're now just going to look to power through the rest of this round, and it's Cyclops all of a sudden that have to make something happen again. Even after that hard work, Levy shuts down Anitun. 3 versus 1, 3 versus none, as Lagonis finds that final kill, and Team 1, they manage to get themselves some breathing space here again. 1 step closer every time to that playoff spot.
They make the Snowmobile garage defense work as well, which is a pretty big one because they've got so much to think about now. Understandably, so do
about this boy. He's like, you keep telling me how good these are. This is what we've been expecting to see for so long. And Team 1, they've just waited for the right moment to flick the switch. And you got to feel for Cyclops because this is the end of a long road for them at the minute. And it's not the end yet, but they're coming towards the end because they're going to have to start finding something. If Team 1 get this round 6-2, 4 map points, I just can't see Cyclops turning it around. As good as they've been, I want to offer maximum respect that I can to Cyclops. I've loved watching them. They've been fantastic. I know that they've got the ability to turn this around, but they can't let this one slip past them in this round.
It's one of the ones that I look at and think next major comes around. You know, Down One Kia were a team that I was kind of pegging to be the big team at the next one, and I thought Cyclops were ready to come and challenge for this sort of thing. And to give it to them, 1 round of difference. You know, losing 7-2, really you can only look at yourself there and say we could have done one better, but they've done the hard yards to Team 1. They're putting themselves in a spot to be in the commanding spot to walk away the winner. 2 rounds stand between them and that first historic tiebreaker win.
And Team One, they'll be denying regional history here. It would have been the first major where we had 2 teams from each region getting out of groups if Cyclops would have won it all the way back on Consulate. That didn't happen. They've had to go on to Chalet. And right now, it's looking like this Chalet is going under. They would need to find themselves an incredible round here to at least get their footing back, then win 2 on the trot just to bring it back to a 5-5.
Certainly would. We're going to be defending this time dining and kitchen, and there's a lot of utility stacked up against Cyclops here. This is an interesting setup. We've got the mirror. I always like the mirror windows. Now then, that is a big play. BlackRay coming in and managing to drop that one. So that is a big starter. I think there's a mirror window just up on the top floor as well, looking onto the solarium windows, just to try and make it difficult for them to get in and get that top floor control. And the mirror windows always fascinate me because she's an operator. When she came into the game, she really transformed a lot of sites and made them viable where they weren't before. And that's how powerful that gadget can be. It's why we see her banned out so often. So keep an eye on that on the top floor. But Ayagator, who could do something about it here?
Into a spot where Anitun's the one to find the opening kill, so at least we're seeing more competition on the entries. A reminder, back on console, 8-1 on entry exchanges. Team One having a massive advantage, but we are seeing Cyclops fighting back more and more. But sadly, for them at least, Team One are the ones constantly finding themselves a bit of a lead into it. Alamal forced back by the flames, but pulls out the SMG, draws back just a few feet, ready to gat down if anyone tries to come repelling in through the window. And of course, don't forget, playing on that smoky cinder spot with 2 more in the back pocket. But Anitun finds yet another at range. You leave this guy untouched on the Monty or the Capital, you'll find him taking some heads.
Again, Cyclops find themselves the first 2 entry kills. KDS and Levy taken out. That's huge because the difference is removing KDS from the equation could really come back to haunt them. Alamal, though, looking like a scare actor because that was spooky. Drops himself down to try and stay alive. Shots railing down on top of Neskin as well. It's getting hectic, but Lagonis bites back. Comes out of nowhere with the first. Through the window, we see the attack onto him. He drops down, leaving us into a 2 versus 4. Neskin over the top of the dinner table. Tried to go aggro, not able to keep it stable. Loses out on the round, Cyclops winning.
For a second there, you really did think that Neskin was going to be able to close that one down. He was just hitting shots on the long angle, but no. Cyclops able this time to shut out that 5 versus 3. And those are the rounds they've got to win. You can't get yourself a man advantage like that and throw it away. And this time, they do no such thing. Alamau not able to have any impact like he did last time around. It's a good round for Cyclops to win. I still feel like they need another. They can't go 6-3 down. It'll be too much of a margin to give Team One.
Not just one more, Tim. They need one more, and then another, and another.
They need
Don't forget, of course, they need a few, yeah. 1 round for Team One would guarantee them overtime at the minimum, and that is where things will get dicey. I know we've been hounding and calling for overtime since we knew this game was going to happen. It's really befitting of the first tiebreaker that we've had in all of Siege history. But I agree with you, Team One are the ones who have been running away with it so far. Sure, Cyclops have got those 3 rounds, so there is still hope. Don't lose heart if you are an APAC fan. There is still time. But I'm just a bit nervous about how it might shape up. I think actually the KD for SuzuC might be the big play they're looking for here, because if you are trying to go aggressive into the building, having those phones ringing out, knowing where a couple of players are nearby, what corners they're on, someone's waiting the other side of a window, you're going to hear that, Jackie.
It will give you away, compromise your position, and with how quick we've seen the shots being from Cyclops already, you've seen it from their POV. The aim is precise, pixel sniffing, fast flicks, they're all about it. Devilish cut angles that have been coming out from them. If you leave yourself in a position where they can again find another 2 entry frags for free, yeah, maybe this game does start to change sides.
Electrical is just used there to hold down the hatch and the connector wall. We're going to have a lot of utility on mezzanine. You got the deployable shield, the mirror, the reinforcement, the 2 ADSs. Just shows how much weight Team One are putting behind holding on to that. The mirror window, of course, facing into library, so they really want to have that locked down. This can be a really brutal setup as well. Lagonis with the mirror onto the double window inside a site. He's got the plant area covered. He's got his peak off to the right, to the left. They never know where he's coming from.
Well, it steps into at this point about 2 minutes 15 in and no one's gone down. So the early aggression contained somewhat by the side of Cyclops, but Team 1 don't really appear to be looking for it too much. You can hear a couple of those pings coming through as the drones are whirring, getting to work for the side of Cyclops. Anitun almost losing his life as well. One more shot and he's off this rappel. And not forgetting, no down but not outstate. If you get tagged whilst on the rappel, you just lose your life outright. So got to be super careful of that, and also found himself tagging onto those alibis, position revealed. So the side of Team 1 know what's coming. They've got a nice hold inside here, by the way. I love that Banshee on the front door, plus some ADSs, a mirror window, and the shield. They are really committing to holding on to mezzanine.
They had a good read on the situation. When it came down to actual practice, they messed up a little bit. BlackRay, Buckles, taken down by Neskin. So the first frag falls in favour of Team 1 on the defence. This is a little bit different than what we've seen in the past 2 rounds, Tim.
It is. Levy just holding onto those libraries there. There's a lot of damage from an explosive there. Tries to step up and challenge onto Gatorada, but thinks better of it as he takes a bit more chip damage. Lagonis finds Anitun, and it's sliding into the favour of Team 1 right now. Cyclops, they've got to find a way to dig their heels in here. They're all working on windows. They just don't seem to have too much presence inside of the map in the areas that are critical to this attack.
Feels like they've kind of acknowledged that as well and want to just say, look, step away from the windows, get ourselves in the building elsewhere and go for a challenge. But you've got Lagonis on site itself, of course, no kit in hand. So they can't just say, ignore everything and push for the site. They need to go and recover this. And sure enough, some movement coming in from the side of Team 1. Another one comes their way, a 2 versus 4 for SuzuC and Gatorada. They've had a great game so far, but can it be enough? They find the one. 30 seconds on the clock, Jackie.
Gatorada, the Lanimal himself, has been let out of his cage and he's starting to slay. Takes down another man as KDS gets popped in the brain. This isn't looking great for Team 1. If they want to keep themselves sane, they need to lock it down here. 2v2, 15 seconds on the clock. Diffuser needs to be recovered. They scarper their way over towards it. The drop down on the Dockerbee. Knows he's on the close angle, but can he hit? The shot flicks in. It's Gatorada to do damage. A triple kill so far. 16 in the clip and 1 in the hole. Gatorada makes their bodies turn cold.
How about that belief from Cyclops? The decision was clear. Leave the diffuser. We're going for kills. And they had to find them. And boy, did they. What a round from Gatorada.
Unbelievable 4K coming out of him. And I can't believe they left the diffuser. I thought, surely you're in a 2v1. One of you can cover, the other can plant. But no, they made that call that we see from a good number of teams. I think of BDS, I think they always love thinking about, let's go for a plant. That's our focus. It's why Playday is often the top planter. But they made the call, forget it, go for the kill. And they found it. That is a huge round from Gatorada. A 4K in the close.
That's crazy. As rounds go, if you're talking of unsustainable rounds, ones that aren't repeatable, that kind of hits it directly on the head. Beautiful play though, sick reactions, the shots were tasty, and it leaves us here. 5-4. We were saying how there's no limits on this game. There's no caveats, not like it was on Consulate. No, you only need to win 2 rounds. No overtime for a possibility. Here we can get it all, Tim. And it looks like we're going that way.
Well, it's as straightforward as it gets, Jackie. Whoever comes away with 7 inside the 12 rounds, they will win. If it goes to 6-all, it's on to overtime and a best of 3 to see who will ultimately take the win. Lagonis just putting that electrical in position again. It's going to activate and electrify that north wall to prevent the breach coming in from the big garage.
Nah, Alamal's not.
He's going for it. He's going for it.
He can't. He can't. Nah. That's all. Look, it's not Tim's ponytail, but keep them sound effects away, Jackie. Come on.
Sorry, that's my bad. I'll respect it in future, Des.
You got me on that one, my man. Right, let's see how things shape up there. Nice little cheeky play coming out with the C4. Nets nothing for the side of Team 1. Would have been nice to catch the Ana off early on, but it is what it is. We'll play with things from there. As he backs away now, dropping down a couple of those mute jammers in his wake to make sure he's not been pursued by any of those pesky drones that have given them a bit of a nightmare in a couple of rounds.
Ooh, a couple of hot potatoes being dropped out from Gatorada. He'll find his way in. Yeah, a little bit of a tag there. Probably took one of his feet off, but, you know, at least it's cheaper to buy shoes now.
I mean, he's going to need it for walking for the rest of the round. We'll see how he gets on. He seems to be moving all right for the time being. It's not done any harm. He's Looking to push forward across this top floor, but he needs to be careful as he approaches Piano because Alamo is holding down an angle there. It looks like Cyclops looking to get straight into the basement now. Maybe just forgone that top floor clearance a little bit, but they need to be careful because if they do, there's still two upstairs actually, so they are still paying some attention, but they need to be careful. Alamo's up there and we know how dangerous he could be on the flank, but it needs to be time limited as well. You can't just give up half of the round, 2 minutes of the round to clear in the top floor when you're attacking onto the basement.
I'm looking towards Alamo up on this top floor around mezzanine again. He had the jammer down on that kind of double doorway that leads in towards Piano, so no one could drone him and get the small pixel angle onto him, but he would always have it back onto his would-be aggressors. Here we go, though, and getting things opened up. So says, yeah, you know what, forget about the Electro Claw. We know that it's not here where we can deal with it, so let's just get the Maverick on the wall and get it open instead. I mentioned about these long angles before as well. Really good for the attackers, but then it's thinking about where the plant comes in, because on the other side, I'm seeing 2 C4s, Jackie, and that always makes me a bit nervous.
Oh, man. Some of the C4 kills we've seen throughout the group stage leave a lot to be desired. Ooh, no more desiring for BlackRay, though, as he is busted clean open. Levy getting loose as he slips into the site and really causes a hoot. Everyone's going down. It's just on Gatorada and Anitun. The flicks are aggressive, and they're backing it up. Can they somehow pull this one around? No!
Lagonis and Levy, they are the two Latam lovelies that Team 1 needed in that moment to get themselves on to the match point. This is the opportunity. Team 1, not only have they fought back today, guys, they have fought back after 2 torrid days that have not been easy through the group stages. They came in with a very slow start. Coming into the beginning of the day, think about exactly what this team had to face up to. We need all 6 points. We need to beat the Sonics. We need to beat Cyclops. We're going to need to beat Cyclops by a certain amount of rounds as well. And then they find themselves in another unexpected rematch. And they're doing it. They're fighting back. They're showing us their true colours at this point.
2 rounds Cyclops need to get to keep this one going through to overtime. We've called for it, but Team 1 might just be living up to the name and the number associated with them. Team number 1 in this fixture. The one-eyed man on the other side can't seem to do too much about it. We'll see how this round plays out now. That downstairs site has been an interesting one. Team 1 walking away with the win in both, and Cyclops won kitchen dining and bar gaming off the back of that. So Team 1 only having the 2 defensive wins. If those are the 2 wins that they have just found, and Cyclops can carry on in these next 2 rounds and get the win and send us to overtime, oh, it is more than just a storyline at that point. It's a story in itself, Jackie.
It's not a story anymore. It's an absolute movie, Des. All 5 of them are living their movie. And it would be a dream come true. 1 more round is all they need. The Mexico Major madness would come to a conclusion because they'd know they've got playoffs locked in. Lagonis, though, he's prone and ready to see if he can do some damage this time around with the C4.
Alamo didn't have any joy last time, but he's going to potentially use the same angle. I don't know what he's waiting for specifically. Out it comes.
Oh! Oh! He's just blown him sky high. Left 1 injured. SuzuC blown to smithereens. Sent to the moon. Anitun at least will be recovered, but that's going to sting because that's the Decay being taken out there, Jackie. You want that to deal with those that are being aggressive around the map. And suddenly, their Roma hunting technology, it has failed. It has been removed. That could be the thing that snowballs, pun not intended, into an avalanche to win this round for Team 1.
Oh, mate, it was the APAC space program. He sent them off to the moon. Team 1 with a hell of an opener on what is the most important round of Chalet up to this point. They are sat pretty 1 round away from locking this game down, getting out of groups and making it to the playoffs. The best of Brazil maybe have a new contender, Tim.
Mentally, that's massive for the team as well. When Lagonis can come out with such a big start and you see that pop up on the kill feed and you just know that the man has gone down, you know that he's hit somebody. Oh boy, it really does set you up for the rest of the round. 5 versus 4 now. We've got Anitun on low health as well, and they could be cruising towards the playoffs. The time is ticking by. We've passed the midpoint of the round. Cyclops yet to have any answer, yet to find themselves a kill, yet to really find themselves established inside of the building. Gatorada making his way onto the mezzanine. BlackRay finds Alamo. That's a great starter for Cyclops. 1 minute left to go.
what more they can do with it. Gatorada still alive. We've seen the clutch factor that he can bring out a couple of times already. And BlackRay doming Alamau. He's been pretty quiet this map overall. 4-9 BlackRay currently. Looking for him to get involved, get himself in the mix and make something happen in this game because, my God, do they need it. Lagonis. They hear the shotgun blast. There's one below, one on the window, off to his left, and they bring it down to a 3 versus 3. Neskin, once again, turning into the god form that we know he can be and brings down BlackRay 3 versus 2. 2 more to go, Jackie, and that'll be it.
More trades than a schoolyard with Pokemon cards. Everyone's taking each other out, and we're left now in a 3 versus 1. Levy getting the job done. It all comes down to Gatorada. Clutch or bust. If he dies, that's it. The dream's dead for Cyclops. Team 1 will become Team 1, and they'll make it to playoffs. Gatorada sideswiped by Levy. It's done. The MP5 takes him out, and we know who makes it out. Team 1 have done
The
it.
Cinderella story is complete for Team 1 here. They come into the major and they struggle to show us their best. They have shown great resilience over the last 3 days, particularly